Hi everyone, I'm Tanaz from Forever Conscious, and this is your weekly energy forecast for the week of May 19th. Life is a balance between holding on and letting go, and from these two states, my life does flow. That is Rumi, and this is exactly what we're working with in some capacity every week. When I do these energy forecasts, we're either in a state of holding on, manifesting, new moon time, holding our desires close to us, or we're in a state of release, full moon time. We're being asked to let go, to surrender, to release the things we no longer want to carry with us. And this is sort of the flow of life. So if it gets a little repetitive, it really is because this is so important to our life path, to move between this state of learning when to hold on and fight for something and go after something and manifest something, holding our vision tight so we can, see it and achieve it, versus letting go, allowing, surrendering, releasing, being done with things that no longer serve us. And, with the energy of the full moon, which we had on the 18th, we are in a period where we are being called to let go. We are being called to release. All full moons are a point of release. All new moons are a point of manifestation, bringing in the new, manifesting, and the different energies around that will kind of govern how that plays out. But essentially, you've probably heard me say it before, this is what we move through each month, from this state of, allowing to letting go to holding on to manifesting. So with this Scorpio full moon that we had on the 18th, on Saturday, we are going to feel its energy for the week. Its energy is very strong and potent. A Scorpio full moon is always one of the most potent that we can have, because Scorpio is the sign that's related to transformation, death and rebirth, and all of these things are felt in a strong way under the presence of a Scorpio full moon. This is not just about releasing. While all full moons are about releasing, the Scorpio full moon is really about that death and rebirth process, that death that has to occur for the rebirth to happen. And very often there's a level of suffering or pain or heaviness that comes up with that. Not always, but more often than not, suffering is a catalyst for change. It is a catalyst for rebirth. It is a catalyst for awakening. And I think there's really something in honoring that. I don't think I've met a single adult or teenager, for that matter, that hasn't experienced some level of suffering. Suffering is very much a human emotion, a common human emotion. It is something that binds us all. We all suffer in our own ways. And that suffering offers a gift of rebirth. It is part of that death process that has to happen for the rebirth to emerge. And, we don't always have to suffer for rebirth, but very often that is what usually ends up happening. We are pressed, we are squeezed, we go through a level of suffering in order to bring about the rebirth. And that is kind of what we're dealing with around this full moon. We may feel, that pain. We may feel that elements, or be reminded of suffering in some way, whether it's for ourselves or for the world, for the planet, and that is what helps to create the rebirth. So we might see this on a global level, on an internal level, because, as above, so below, everything is just a mirror for us. So there is this really kind of deep energy, and we can lean into this by acknowledging, or learning to acknowledge the darkness, learning to be comfortable with our shadows, be comfortable as much as possible in this idea that suffering is somewhat part of our human experience, and part of what we need to go through and overcome in order to enter into that beautiful rebirth. We're so good at celebrating the rebirth under this Scorpio energy, under this darker, deeper Scorpio energy. We want to pay a little bit of honor to that darker stuff that helps us to get to that lightness. So feel into that, feel where that resonates for you this week, and see how you can kind of honor and give gratitude for those more painful moments, not for what they brought you, but because of what they allowed you to achieve, if that makes sense. So that is the energy we're working with. We also have on the 21st, we have the sun shifting into Gemini. So we enter into Gemini season. We're moving out of Taurus season. Taurus is an earth sign. We're moving into Gemini, Gemini being an air sign. So we're moving from this earthy, dense energy into this light, airy energy, and it's really nice. Gemini is the third sign of the zodiac. We are also in a number 3 year in numerology. So there's this wonderful harmony and balance that's taking place while we're in Gemini season. We just have to be mindful under Gemini season that we do not get caught up in our mind, in overthinking, in over-identifying with our thoughts, because you might have heard me say, you do not have to believe everything you think. In fact, it's really a great idea to not believe everything you think. So there's a need to be a little bit mindful with that. Gemini is very concerned with facts and figures and knowing, wanting to know. And so you may start feeling that in your life. You may start feeling this desire to go on a quest for the truth. Your truth, someone else's truth, there's just this need for you to kind of get to the bottom of things. So be mindful of that. Stay in your center, stay in your balance. But if you are feeling that desire to know or to gain wisdom or knowledge, things like journaling, talking, writing down your thoughts and feelings, and also just listening and paying attention to the clues around you can really be helpful with that as well. So we have this full moon energy, which is going to dominate the week. We're being called to transform, to release, to also acknowledge and honor and be comfortable with the darker, more uncomfortable aspects of life, and just kind of honoring how suffering, as painful as it is, can lead us to this bloom phase, this rebirth phase, and this is a perfect time to explore all of that while under the presence of a very powerful Scorpio full moon. I also have a ritual for you. The Scorpio full moon is one of the best for ritual work. You can find my ritual. I'll put it below this video, but feel free to work with the magic of the moon in whatever way calls to you, because this is wonderful energy that's there for you to use. And, just being gentle with yourself. A potent full moon draws things out of us, can make us feel a little heavy, can make us really sit with that uncomfortable stuff. So, just be gentle with yourself, be compassionate towards yourself and to others as well. So I am Tanaz from Forever Conscious. Thank you so much.